Shalom, Akim Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Achakorash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth. A sincere shalom to the hopeful like us out there listening, learning, and or teaching in truth and sincerity. Shalom. Alright, so as you can see, man, there's a lot going on in the world. 2026 started out with a bang. We already went over the Maduro situation in Venezuela. How Donald Trump, is going over there to, steal resources as he's always done. These Edomites have always done, going around and plundering these different lands. Okay. And now, y'all remember a while ago he said something about taking Greenland. Okay. So, this is back on the news. I got an article pulled up here. It says Danish Prime Minister says Trump attack on Greenland would end NATO. You see? So just like China, Iran, and Russia are, saying are, on Venezuela's side, for lack of a better word, they're against America's actions. And they basically calling it, just a hostile takeover of the land, they use specific verbiage. It was something along those lines, man. So the point being that these nations are all against America. It's America against the world, but America still has its power, for the time that the Lord has set it up. Prophecy has to be fulfilled. So, it's going to have to run its course. But eventually, the scriptures tell us that these nations will turn against her. All right? So I'm going to read it again. It says, Danish Prime Minister says Trump's attack on Greenland would end NATO. Right? And we know that NATO is an agreement that America has with these other European nations to basically back each other up. Okay? And so America's own allies, and if you go into it, these European countries are treated like vassal states, just like how Trump went over there to Venezuela and acted like, he's the cop of the world. Really, all he's doing, he kidnapped their leader in order to do what? To steal their oil. All right. This is why all these nations around the world, they have so many resources. Their people are poor. Okay. Like, look at Africa, man. Africa should be one of the richest. Every country in Africa should be rich. All the people should be rich. All the diamonds, the gold. Same thing with Venezuela. Look at all the oil, right? All the gold and silver and, just all these minerals and resources. Okay, but all these countries that have all this stuff are poor. And who's rich? These Edomites. Okay, because they don't keep it home. Like the scriptures say, we can bring that out real quick, man. Habakkuk 2. And then we're going to go ahead and get straight to the point. Verse 5, it says, Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, right? These wicked philosophies that he pushes worldwide, right? Idolatry, covetousness, okay, feminism, alphabet doctrine, alphabet ideologies, transgenderism, all that nonsense. Okay, it says he is a proud man, right? He's very proud. They think they're the best nation on the earth. They think they have the moral high ground. They think they have all the authority and they could just push everybody around and do whatever they want, to the point where they think they are gods in and of themselves, man. The so-called white man has a God complex. All right. But the scriptures also say the pride of his heart has deceived him. Okay. If you read the book of Obadiah. All right. Because the Lord's going to take this proud devil down. All right. But it continues, neither keepeth at home, right? He does not keep at home. Okay, America has plenty of resources, oil, minerals, but no, he doesn't want that. He wants to take everybody else's, you see? And he doesn't want to buy it. No, he wants to basically rob you. Okay, he's getting rich off of this thing that's going on in Venezuela. Okay, and they're not going to share it with the citizens. No, hell no. It's just going to be lining these billionaire corporations' pockets, and the people all the way at the top. Everybody else is going to keep working 3 jobs to live in a cardboard box, right? Which is what the next part is going into. who enlargeth his desire as hell, right? Hell is never satisfied, the grave, and is as death, right? His ways are as death, man. He's not conducive to life, okay? Destroying the whole earth, bombing everybody, oppressing people just so he could live a little more comfortably, and everybody else is, being worked to death. The land being worked to death, right? They don't let the land rest, the land Sabbath, right? They let this land, basically they keep planting on the same pieces of land over and over and over again, causing the land to get worn out. And then when there's no water, there's no rain, right? There's a famine, a natural famine, which is the Lord's judgment. Instead of taking their judgment, they go into the ground and they dig up these, they set up these water pumps to pump water out of the underground aquifers and force the land to continue to grow so they can keep making profit. And then what happens? You got all these sinkholes and land collapsing, fucking up the ecosystem. Me and the brother Isaiah had made a video on that. Okay? It says, and cannot be satisfied. You see, he's not satisfied, man. Okay, he's robbing Maduro, he's robbing Africa, he's robbing everybody, man. All these different countries have been robbed by America. A lot of them, the majority of them, in one way or another, are getting robbed. And now they're going to rob their own people, Edomites. Other so-called white people are going to get robbed by the so-called, the top so-called white people. All right. In simple terms, America, the most powerful nation of Edomites, right? They're now going to rob other less powerful Edomite nations. Okay? Which I got a nice depiction here, which Great Millstone had put together. Okay? And, this is the beast that we often talk about, which is really just NATO and the EU. Spearheaded by what? America. America is the whore. Okay? And then you got these 10 horns, which is the original, the 10 horns. And it says here, the 10 horns represents the common market or the European Economic Committee. The EEC established in 1958. Today, the EEC is known as the EU, the European Union, right? And so with time, they added a lot more members, okay? But originally, you had 10 powers, all right? And of course, we don't want to, I'm not going to go into too much detail because that's not what the video is about. Okay, but just so you could get the gist, man, these horns are the European Union. Okay, so I'm going to just go real quick. We're going to get back into the article, but I want to grab Revelation 17, verse 16. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, right? That's the European Union. These shall hate the whore, right? This is the whore, Salakia. This is the whore, America. And the beast, the horns, right? The European Union, they hate America, man. Because America treats them like vassal states. Who hates America? Look at France, man. That's a great example. They're over there burning American flags. The leader of France hates America. They've hated America for a long time. They've had different trade wars with each other, right? And look at the Nord Stream pipeline, right? Germany was going to receive cheap oil from Russia. America blew that up and said, no, you got to buy our oil that we're going to ship to you from the other side of the fucking world in boats, and then you got to pay a high-ass fee for it. It wasn't just Germany. There's other European countries that were going to take advantage of that too. The Nord Stream pipeline. But America's like, nah, fuck you. You're going to keep making us rich, and, we'll offer you some protection. But America's not going to offer them protection unless, he's got his foot halfway up their ass with these different tariffs and these, different trade deals that he's doing. Okay, and now he wants to go take over Greenland to do what? Plunder it and take resources, man. To the point where, these Edomites, they hate each other, man. The Lord is setting up the downfall of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Okay, because, these European countries all have nukes too. Okay? You got Russia, you got China, You got Iran and these European nations, they all have nukes, and they're all sick of America's shit. All right? Something's finna give, man. Okay? Nah, Venezuela, not enough. Let's go take Greenland too. Let's go take Colombia and Mexico. Let's take the whole world. If we could, let's take the whole fucking world and everybody in it. You see? That's why they're going to push that chip. You see? But let's get into this article real quick, man. It says Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen warned on Monday that the long-standing NATO alliance would end if President Trump ordered an attack on Greenland, a semi-autonomous territory of the Kingdom of Denmark. Okay? And just for edification's sake, is Denmark in the EU? Just so y'all can see that it's part of the EU. Yes, AI overview. Yes, Denmark is a member of the European Union. Okay, so getting back into it, Danish Prime Minister, Slovakia. Okay, second paragraph is where we left off. In an interview on the Danish broadcaster TV2, Frederiksen responded to Trump's renewed threats to take over the resource-rich island. I believe one should take the American president seriously when he says that he wants Greenland. Frederiksen said in the interview, according to a translation from Bloomberg. But I also make it clear that if the U.S. chooses to attack another NATO country militarily, then everything stops, including NATO, and thus the security that has been established since the end of the Second World War. She continued, right? You know, and if you can go into how that happened. Okay, so, you know, I believe that has something to do also with, you know, you had the Soviet Union, okay, and basically, you know, that spirit of the Soviet Union is coming back in Russia. You know, Russia's is getting roused up, okay, and what's going to happen is instead of, you know, NATO and America coming together against Russia, it's going to be NATO and Russia coming together against America. You see? That's what the Lord's going to do, man. All right. Trump has frequently toyed with the possibility of taking over Greenland, noting its potential usefulness for the U.S. security interests. But those threats took on greater weight this weekend after the Trump administration carried out a stunning military operation capturing Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife and bringing them to New York to face charges. Amid questions about which country could face a similar fate, Trump told reporters Sunday about Greenland. It's so strategic right now. Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security, and Denmark is not going to be able to do it, the president said. See, hey, these motherfuckers use the same play. Every fucking day they use the same play, man. Every time they're going to go invade somebody, you know, what did he say about Maduro? You know, he said, you know, not Maduro, but Venezuela. He said, yeah, their oil industry sucks. We're going to go over there and we're going to do it right and we're going to make them rich, blah, blah, blah. No, they're not going to. They're going to fucking steal resources, man. And they're going to push their philosophies, okay? You know, all these different weird philosophies, man. This is what they're going to push over there in Venezuela while stealing their resources. Okay, steal resources and push degeneracy worldwide. That's all these Edomites know how to do. All right? Frederiksen issued an earlier statement fiercely defending Greenland against Trump threats, saying it makes absolutely no sense to speak of any necessity for the United States to take over Greenland. The United States has no legal basis to annex one of the three countries of the Kingdom of Denmark. Well, that's the thing. America doesn't need permission. They just do whatever the fuck they want just because they have the power. You know, because these Edomites are wicked, man. They don't think afar off. They don't think about the laws of Yahweh Shem Shai. They don't have any common sense. It's all like monkey see, monkey do. All right. Ooh, you got riches? Let me take them. All right. To the point where they'll deplete the earth of resources just to get more rich. You know, all this oil they're pumping out of the ground. When people have invented cars that run on water and shit like that, electric cars, all types of cars that could be invented, but they want to suppress that so they can keep, this oil monopoly going with the Rothschilds and, these international banking families. You got Rothschilds, Rockefellers, DuPonts. They got all their different monopolies, and oil is one of those monopolies, man. All right. Give me 1 second. Slovakia. All right. Slovakia for that. But yeah, man, that's what these devils are doing. Let's see here. Let's read the last paragraph. It says, I therefore strongly urge the United States to cease its threats against a historically close ally and against another country and other people who have stated very clearly that they are not for sale, Fredrickson said. You see? But it's like the mafia. They're gonna give you an offer you can't refuse. They're gonna give you the bag. It's not gonna be a big bag, but they're gonna give you a bag, and they're gonna put a gun to your head, and you choose. You take the bag and shut up, or you get your head blown off. And that's the mindset that Esau Edom has, man. Especially this whore America, man. All right, let's go back to Revelation 17:16. All right, we're gonna read it again. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon a beast, these shall hate the whore, right? The European Union. They tired of America. And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. That's right. The European Union, right? Not including America. The European Union countries are going to have a hand in the downfall of America. They're going to have a hand in the thermonuclear destruction of America. This is Revelation 17:17. For the Most High hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And that's why the Lord has these European countries in line to where they're submitting to America for a season. Okay, because prophecy must be fulfilled. So the European countries are submitting to America for a season. But it's going to come a time when the Lord is going to say, all right, it's time for the end. All right, after the MOTB has been mandated for buying and selling, right? The RFID CHIP, right? You got the RFID chip, you've got Neuralink, you've got Synchron, right? They call those brain-computer interfaces, right? And the one that goes in the hand is the RFID chip. These devices are going to go underneath people's skin, either in their hand, in their forehead, in their brain. And it's going to be mandatory for buying and selling very soon. And when it is, okay, after that prophecy is fulfilled, the Lord will then now put it in the heart of these European countries to destroy America, along with Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, these Arab countries. They all going to come together. All right? And and then with that, we're going to go to Isaiah 55:11, and we're going to close out. It says, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. That's right, man. So the Lord said, America's going to be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. It said that America's own allies are going to come against it. All right. We bring this out often, man, but just wanted to get this quick update and show you that prophecy is speaking, man. Prophecy is speaking. All right. Wars are escalating. Okay. Like it says in the book of Matthew, we'll get that real quick. Okay. This is Matthew 24, verse 6. And it reads, Salakia. I don't know why it's loading so long. You know, and Esau likes to fuck with my videos often. But we're going to get it done through the Spirit. All right? Lord's will. This is Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. That's right. So we're seeing this. Okay, all these different prophecies the Lord said would happen are happening. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. Okay, this is just one example. Okay. All right, just like the example we gave in Revelation 17, verse 17. All right, talking about how Salakia, verse 16, talking about how, you know, the 10 horns would hate the whore. Okay, so, yup, hey, there you go. More prophecy speaking in 2026, and it's only the 5th. All right, is one huge crazy headline after another, man. All right. But yeah, man, that's it. That's pretty much all I wanted to go into today. I want to finish by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem HaKodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us the truth. Sincere shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom wa. Abba Shalom.